Alcoholics Indecision and how sobriety can give us a plan of action to take massive action. As a drinker, there is no doubt it leads to indecision. Should I drink? Should I not drink? What should I do today? All these things are easier in sobriety. I couldn't take massive action. There was no way. Why is that? Well, addiction keeps us on the fence. It makes us want to just drink. The only reason to get out of bed each day is for that one drink, or 2, or 10, or however many drinks it takes for us to be satisfied with life. Indecision is impossible to get over if we're stuck in addiction. I couldn't make a decision on anything in my life. What did I want to do today? What do I want to do with my life? What kind of things, what kind of people do I want in my life? What kind of future do I want? It can be down to the smallest detail. What do I want to eat today? All these things in addiction are hard to accomplish. We can't make a rational decision when we're under the influence of alcohol. We can't make a decision in general when we're addicted to alcohol. And why is that? My experience with alcohol is that it keeps us in a loop and a perpetual cycle of inaction. I used to listen a lot to Tony Robbins, motivational speaker, and he would talk a lot about massive action. And this is before I got sober. This is the years about 2015 to about 2020 before I got sober. And I would watch these videos. I would watch the movie I Am Not Your Guru, and I would watch a scenario such as Sienna, a 19-year-old girl who was trying to eat better, and her mother was there with her at this Tony Robbins event. And Tony would try to get to the bottom of why it is that she was having a hard time with her diet and staying strict about her eating habits. And he wanted to dig a little bit deeper. So he asked about her relationships, in particular her relationships with her mother, and then it was revealed with her father. And her mother and father were divorced, and from what I remember, he asked her what her problem and his problem were. So they were estranged. They hadn't talked in years, and she said the reason why they didn't talk anymore was because of his drinking and drug use. And Tony wanted to dig a little bit deeper into that and asked her, like, why is it possible that his drug use and his alcohol use are a result of her judging him and his use? Is it possible that is keeping him, his guilt and his shame over his use and the way she feels about him and blaming him for everything is keeping him in his addiction? And she admitted that, yeah, that's a possibility. And then Tony took it a step further and said, all the things that you blame your dad for, is it possible that he did things to help you grow up, to help you, have a home, have, clothes on your back, food on the table, all the things that a parent are supposed to do? Is it possible that he gave you all those things, but that you're not looking at those things that he did. You're only looking at the things that he did wrong. And of course, she said, she acknowledged that that's a possibility. And Tony would argue that these kinds of reasons are the reason why we have a hard time, or she in particular is having a hard time staying strict on her own life. When our relationships are fractured like that, and all we can do is blame people for all the things that they do wrong and not give them credit for all the things that they do right, it's going to impact our own mental health and our own mental well-being, and it's going to make ourselves tell our own selves that we're not enough, that we're not good enough, we're not capable enough, we're not able to have the life that we want, have the diet that we want, have the recovery from addiction that we want, the job that we want, all the things that we want in this world. If we're holding people and blaming people, especially those that are closest to us in our lives, but not giving them credit, then it's hard to ourselves be kind to ourselves. So they did a follow-up on that. It turned out that the two of them, Sienna and her dad, had started talking again, and formed a relationship again after that. But that was really the beginning of the possibility that, hey, my relationships with my parents weren't the best. My relationships with my wife, my relationships with my daughters, my relationships in general with people that were close to me kind of struggled. And I wondered, do I hold those same resentments to those that I love and don't give them the credit that they need? And as a result, am I suffering? And I determined, after years of working through that, and then finally in 2020 getting sober, that first and foremost, we don't always have to have those people in our lives to begin with, but if we're going to have them in our lives, we should treat them with the love and kindness that we want to give to ourselves as well. And through the grace of God, I was able to get sober. God gave me grace, so I was able to give myself grace. And that didn't happen, and I didn't realize that until after I got sober, and I was sober for some time, that grace plays a huge factor in recovery, in our relationships, not just with other people, but with ourselves. And a lot of times Tony talks about action and taking massive action, and how that can be a cornerstone to growth and change in our own lives. If we don't take action, we're always going to be indecisive. We're always going to be unsure. We're always going to be insecure. And we're not going to be able to grow and form the boundaries with ourselves, with other people, give people the benefit of the doubt, give them the credit where credit is due. The goal here, I think, for me in particular, is just to not blame at all, but only give them the credit that they deserve. Give them the words of affirmation that they do deserve, but then form boundaries, and then keep those boundaries. And it's not always comfortable. It's not always fun. People get used to you treating them a certain way, and you get used to them treating you a certain way. And then when you start to form boundaries, and they don't even have to be spoken boundaries. Sometimes you can say something that's bothering you, but sometimes you can just pull back a little bit, and without even saying a word, they can tell that that's a new boundary. And like I said, it's not always comfortable, but it's something that is decisive. It's something that we can do in our day-to-day lives to not just help our relationships with other people, but we can help our relationship with ourselves and start to kind of cure that insecurity. We can grow in our sobriety. So that's my one story for today. I'm glad that you came with me. I've got a sobriety group called Sobriety in the Storm. It's on Facebook. It's a private group, and I'd love to have you there. I'll pin the link to that group in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you found value in this video. I'll also pin the link to my other videos in the comments below with my sobriety group. And please click the notification bell to get updates on my newest videos. I come out with new videos every Wednesday and Sunday every week. So I love making content for you all, and I'm glad that you're here. Please, please, please be kind to yourself and have a great sober day in the next few days until we see you again. And I also do live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 o'clock. So stay tuned for those. Have a great day, everybody.